Welcome to the Great Wrestling Debate. I'm Tommy Werner.
I'm Wayne Kircher.
Along with Wayne Kircher. And it's RVD return week here, as the music would suggest. Great to see him back at Money in the Bank the other night and in the main event match on Raw last night.
Yep, wrestling Chris Jericho.
Yep. Definitely a good match. We'll talk about some of that later. First, we'll talk about basically what happened with Money in the Bank.
Yes, me and Tyler tried to go to a friend's house to watch it, but that kind of fell flat towards the weekend.
Yeah.
Tyler was able to watch it via illegal stream.
So
Tyler might have to go to jail soon for
being a bit of a weasel that I was.
Yeah.
But it was for good reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I can be a little more in depth now about it. Unlike last pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, I had to follow it on Bleacher Report and then watch some highlights on YouTube, pretty much.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But unfortunately for me, I did see a match Tyler did not. I saw the pre-show match in its entirety, and all I can sum up is that what was WWE thinking of putting this on the pre-show?
Yeah, there's been many that suggested that as well, and with Roman Reigns and the Shield in general, it seems like they've been really pulling back on them since they won the title.
Well, some people
titles.
Always just that question of have they risen the tag team belts, or have the belts brought them down a level? Maybe.
Yeah.
And you could say the same thing about Dean Ambrose as the U.S. champion, possibly too.
Right. I mean, the thing is too. I mean, they've been ever since they won the belts. Let's face it, the Usos are lesser competition. Even if they had good matches with they had a good match with the Usos.
Yeah.
They were beating the entire main event roster almost of baby faces. And then I think the problem was once they beat Kane and Daniel Bryan, the focus became more on, Kane and Daniel Bryan, they're breaking up. And then, then they started introducing the Wyatt family, and vignettes.
And now the Real Americans too, but we will get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to more of the Shield later before we go too far into that topic.
But now we should get to the actual opening match of the pay-per-view, the Money in the Bank World Heavyweight Title match.
Which will for the Smack.
Did the results shock you at all?
I think they did. I mean, let's face it. He wasn't Sandow was not the favorite. There's a poll on No DQ Q&A. I looked at one of the videos, and Aaron Riff said that 4% of the poll thought that Sandow was going to win, and that the favorite was Ambrose, and I think behind that was Wade Barrett,
who I thought was going to win.
Yeah,
but
I could have seen that too.
Clearly, his time, I guess, right now has passed it for that main event spot.
Well, maybe I think that's the question I have. What do they from right now? What do they do with Barrett? I mean, at this point, I mean, if you keep him in mid card, I think it's a mistake. I think because the thing is, Sandow doesn't have to cash in tomorrow, and
no,
like with Ziggler, he didn't cash in until after WrestleMania. So I mean, there's still a possibility they could maybe move Wade Barrett up. Kind of like with Daniel Bryan, he didn't win later on in the pay-per-view, he didn't win, but they could he's going to face Cena for the WWE Championship.
Well, Tyler, I mean, since this match supposedly had nothing but heels in it, according to Bleacher Report, the guy who did most of the 6 spots of the whole match was Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, and the crowd seemed behind him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, according to Raw, he's officially a face now, and Rhodes Scholars has officially been disbanded.
With this, and Sandow is the obvious heel here, but I mean, the point of the Money in the Bank match is every man for himself.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
In that regard, you can't complain.
Yeah.
And I remember last year thinking I could see why couldn't they? Maybe they could make Sandow like the new ultimate opportunist, sort of like Edge used to be. And here's an example.
Well, he is the intellectual savior of the WWE.
Right.
I mean,
and
yet he always seems to fall for some of the stupidest.
Yeah, and I think it would be nice if they could make here he was like the ultimate opportunist in a way. They could maybe roll with something like that to add to his wrestling style, perhaps. I don't know.
Next up was
and of course I want to mention the rest of the Shield interfered.
Yeah, almost forgot about that. Yeah,
and Ambrose still was unable to. And of course the Usos came out and they and then that's where everything kind of went
Yeah, everything kind of just fell
crazy.
apart then.
Everything kind of, and that's where it left Cody Rhodes
And
by
Sandow,
himself, and
yeah.
then Sandow, yeah. So it didn't really help Ambrose here, but I mean that's okay. I mean they can always later on, turn it on more with the Shield.
Yes,
Um,
definitely.
Moving on, next was Curtis
Axel
Axel
against the
against
Miz.
the Miz. Yeah, I mean it was decent
It was your
intercontinental
basic. It was a
match.
basic
It was your
match.
basic
No,
match,
nobody
yeah,
looked at this match and said, "Oh, show stealer," especially with two Money in the
right,
Bank matches and the two other world title matches.
yeah,
So, not didn't really surprise me that Curtis Axel retained. Obviously, the company is higher on this guy,
yeah,
and
for the mid card.
he is one of only two Paul Heyman guys right now.
Yep.
So,
Now
I think
that
now that Punk and Heyman now officially been disbanded, I think a lot more of the of Heyman's focus will now be on Curtis Axel. That's been the past.
yep.
So I can only see nothing but positive for Curtis Axel. As for the
When
Miz,
Lesnar's not around too, that'll be good for
yeah,
him.
and as for the Miz, well, I still can't believe this guy once main evented a WrestleMania a few years ago
Yep.
because man, he's really fallen.
I think they've blown it with this his face turn. I thought they had some momentum that they could have rolled with, and they have him do more Miz TV and every night on SmackDown, but I don't know, it just doesn't. I
Well,
don't
not
know,
only
it's
that, I
not
mean,
clicking.
I don't know if you ever know about the new wrestling program on Wednesday called Main Event on Ion. He's supposed to
Yeah.
have been the commentator for that show for a while.
Yeah, I mean, and the funny thing is, I mean, they WWE used to put so much attention on that, and now then all of a sudden they just like you don't hear anything about it anymore.
Well, you used to hear about matches advertised on Raw, and they never even do those matches for Main Event in the first
Yeah,
place. But
I remember. Yeah, I remember last Wednesday I was actually flipping through the channels, and then I stumbled upon Main Event, and I'm
yep.
thinking, huh, I didn't even know that was on.
Let's
I
see.
forgot. I didn't even like remember that
Yeah.
that was. But yeah,
Next match was the Divas Championship.
Divas Championship. Yeah,
Not really
uh,
surprised by the results. I think
yeah,
AJ is going to be in I think AJ's going to have a long reign.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the thing is, I mean, there's no other divas that really wrestle that much, other
Yeah,
in
but
prominent matches.
and not a whole lot of them have the charisma on the microphone as AJ does. I
Yeah,
mean, for
the thing
me,
is though that it's clear that they have to give her help. Like at one point in the match, she was on the top rope, and Caitlyn pushed her off, and luckily Biggie Langston was there and caught her.
mhm.
And then of course they had this whole angle where Caitlyn's arm was injured or something. She nailed the spear, but then her arm was hurt and this and that. And then the submission, AJ applied. I forget what it's called.
Yeah. It's
An
actually a pretty nice.
interesting submission
Yeah, it's actually
hold
a pretty nice submission hold.
on what was I guess a weakened arm. So I don't like it. It creates this mentality that like Caitlyn has to be heard, and Biggie Langston has to help catch AJ from falling 10 feet down or whatever it was onto
Yeah,
the
but
onto the
I mean,
floor.
but at the same,
They got to get around. I think they got to get around that and have her get more legitimate wins. That's the only thing I think
yeah, well,
they could
but
do. But
I don't know. The reason why I'm a big fan of AJ is the fact that ever since she got plowed by the Big Show, I mean, legitimately got ran over by the Big Show. I mean,
yeah,
clearly the smallest
that's kind
diva.
of
I mean,
yeah.
she's tough. I mean, and that's I mean, and like you said, she jumps off and gets caught by Biggie Langston. I don't know a whole lot of other divas that would do a spot like that.
Yeah,
So for me, she has commitment and she's willing to take spots that some of the divas aren't willing to take.
yeah.
So I think she definitely earned the right to be the
Well, I mean,
champion.
getting caught, and then maybe landing on the floor without anybody there might be another thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
All I know is I got
we'll,
she earned
we'll
my
have to
respect
wait and see.
after she got ran over by the Big Show
Yeah,
because she I don't know you watched the
I remember
replay.
that.
Yep, got plowed over,
Yeah.
just destroyed.
Um. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there'll be a rematch for that for SummerSlam. I don't know. Because then again, I don't know who else they really have in the Divas division right now, and
I,
that's really worth.
SummerSlam, I don't see her having a match. I see her being
Maybe
in
not.
Biggie's
Yeah,
corner for probably the Ziggler
maybe.
match. That's what it looks like. That's the next feud for Ziggler.
Yeah. Unless, I mean, you could make a case though that Ziggler had outside interfere. He got, which I guess that was the next match. It was either that or
No. I think
maybe it was right, but
Ryback and Jericho, which
yeah,
is good news for Ryback. The losing
that
streak has ended.
yeah,
he finally
And
is back on.
some people complain that he won by a roll up, and he should have like dominated Jericho. I don't necessarily think he had to, because maybe they'll have a rematch. I don't know. I
I
mean,
doubt it,
maybe
but yeah,
down the, but I mean, because he won by roll up, and people thought that was cheap, and you
I
know,
thought it was smart.
people thought, yeah, I mean, it shows
It
that,
proves that he's not just all muscle;
yeah,
he's got brains to him.
yeah, but I mean, like the fact that that he holds Jericho down with all his muscle,
Yeah,
that's part of wrestling too.
yeah,
It doesn't always have to be this thing where, he does this move and then he does this move. He's got to do his finisher to end the match, and it'd be nice down the road to maybe see Ryback make somebody tap out, and then what are people going to complain? Oh, he didn't do the shell shock and he didn't do the meat hook, and he's supposed to do that to, break his losing streak or whatever, but.
yeah. But
A win is a win here, whether
exactly,
it's
the
by
losing
roll
streak
up.
is over.
Yeah,
Ryback can, I don't know, go fight somebody else now,
yeah.
and Jericho can go
It's
tour Fozzy. I
it's
mean, everybody wins in the
yeah.
end.
I mean, the only thing is that I would have thought that if they were gonna have Jericho lose, they were gonna have him get beaten down badly, that he'd then go toward with Fozzy. But he was on,
Yeah,
then here he was facing Rob Van Dam the next night on Raw. So I don't. So who
yeah.
knows? Who knows when exactly he's going on tour? I don't know if he'll be there for SummerSlam.
Well, since
Just
there's supposed to be a
yeah.
concert that day, I
Oh well, then
unless he's playing double duty,
I
I mean,
wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. So, so yeah. Then maybe like they'll write him off
uh,
maybe next week. Who knows? Um, because they'll probably write him off somehow.
next up was the World Heavyweight Title match.
Yep.
Ziggler, Del Rio, Corey, the Bleacher,
Z-
a great match.
eh,
And finish kind of came. Finish kind of
Ziggler
came.
looked good. Definitely, the crowd was definitely behind Ziggler,
Oh
and
yeah, definitely.
Ziggler like Ziggler was selling moves, pretty well, and he just it definitely seemed like he turned it up a notch, and was the crowd was behind him.
Well, Jim Ross even said on his Twitter account, he thinks, like I've said, I think on the last episode, Ziggler is the next Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, I mean
He sells like
it's
Shawn Michaels.
interesting
I
that,
mean,
he definitely, I like the way he sells his move. I definitely took notice of that. And even on the free stream that I had it on.
yep.
Um,
And obviously, like I said, AJ interferes,
AJ,
and now
yeah,
we have this Big E feud coming up, and
yeah, perhaps,
don't know
yeah,
who WWE's next challenger is, but I don't think it's gonna be Ziggler. I think
yeah. Maybe a few months down the road again, he'll get a shot, because the way the match ended,
yeah.
it was. I
Well, yeah,
mean,
controversial.
he won by DQ,
Yeah,
or
definitely.
yeah, he won by DQ because he or I forget. No, he got DQ'd, but
Yeah,
it was one of those things where
AJ
it
and
was AJ's.
yeah, AJ's fault.
He
Yeah,
didn't get himself disqualified, so down the road maybe he'll get the opportunity again, and because
yeah.
he should. They shouldn't just leave him off at this point. With the momentum he's got too. There'd be no sense in that. So yeah,
Let's see.
and
Next up
then
was
after that was the WWE
yep,
Championship
John Cena,
match.
Mark Henry. I was kind of
Uh,
really surprised that did not go on last, but I'm kind of glad it did not go on
yeah,
last.
there. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of interesting
Well,
wrestling here.
some people thought it was their best match together.
There was a good spot where, I think relatively early in the match, where Mark Henry did like he like
Yeah,
planted John Cena on the
yeah.
steel steps, kind of belly first. Um, that looked a little brutal. Oh my god! But I mean, other than that, there wasn't a whole lot.
Yep.
There wasn't a whole lot of great wrestling here, or anything special. A lot of the main focus was on whether John Cena can get Mark Henry up for the AA, and
Oh, well, he did. And
well, if
supposedly Henry kicked out.
Big Show was once supposedly 500 plus pounds,
Yeah.
so if he could get, let's not
Well,
kid ourselves here. I mean,
yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing was that Henry tapped out in the STF, and I think that was the first time he's tapped out to the move.
maybe,
I believe.
yeah,
I believe in past matches, Cena's only beat him with the AA.
yeah, because
So I guess there's some they changed it up a bit because
they had to, yeah,
well, these guys have fought each other not just on not only on pay per view before, but definitely on a lot of episodes of Raw. And most
yeah.
times they were just burial matches towards Henry.
Yeah. I have no idea if Cena's ever even lost to Henry, and then they act like, oh, I don't know if John Cena can beat Mark Henry. I mean, he's only beat him how many times in the past, and probably never lost against him. But
Yeah,
so that wasn't a surprise.
yeah.
Um, and and yeah, I mean, yeah, there's not a whole lot to say about that, really. And that brought us to the Raw Money in the Bank match. Obviously the most anticipated match
Yep,
of the night. RVD comes out first,
yep.
surprising, and I mean it was decent, I guess. I mean there wasn't a whole lot of crazy spots
Yeah.
that some people may have criticized for. Um, Definitely, RVD got his chance to shine in that match, as
Well,
as you thought he would.
the biggest thing
Um,
I think of the match pretty much was that Paul Heyman. What? First of
right.
all, Curtis Axel screws Daniel Bryan of winning the match
Yeah,
because
and
according to Bleacher, he was the only guy in the ring, and then here comes Axel to knock him
Paul
off.
Heyman, yeah,
Heyman
and
comes
then of
down and
course
kind of gets
Paul
mad at
Heyman,
Axel and looks like he's gonna help Punk out, and then
Punk
all of a
out.
sudden he smacks him with a
Yep,
ladder in
he's
the
he's
face.
cheering he's cheering Punk to go up the ladder, and
Yeah.
then he
Then he meets
baited
him
him
the
in, and
ladder,
then
and supposedly Punk
he,
get,
he like
Punk get,
pushes the ladder while Punk's up there, and
yeah. Punk
yep,
kind of gives like a supposedly what are you doing pretty much
yeah,
face like,
and,
and
and yeah,
pretty much Heyman is I'm sorry, CM Punk is now no longer a Paul Heyman guy pretty
right,
much. Randy Orton wins. Once again I that shocked me a bit, but after watching Raw, I saw why they
yeah.
probably did it.
And I mean, probably, perhaps the biggest spot of that match, was at the end, like before it, like Rob Van Dam was up at the ladder and he had a chance at getting the briefcase down, and then Orton kind of like pushed the ladder aside,
Yeah,
and then that caused RVD to like fall straight down
yeah.
and in like right into a RKO. Like he just
Oh
dropped him right into RKO.
wait. That
Bruce
was that.
Willis style.
Wait, so that was what the spot? Because I was
That
thinking I
was
was thinking Orton of WrestleMania 23, where like he's up on the ladder, and I think it was CM Punk was up on the ladder, and Orton just RKO's him off the ladder. But you're telling
yeah.
me that
This was
that
a little this had a twist.
so Rob Van Dam just fell down and
Like
showed.
he
Yeah.
pushed the ladder like to the off to his right,
Okay.
and like CM Punk was like kind of like I think grabbing the briefcase,
Yeah.
and instead he just like kind of fell straight down, and then Orton was standing there and he just like,
RKO'd him
yeah,
as
as
he
he
came
was
down.
like dropping down, and
So
yeah, that's
so
something
would
to
you
look
say
up.
it was similar to the Evan Bourne shooting star press RKO spot?
Probably, yeah,
Because a
probably
lot of people still look
comparable
at
with
that as the
that.
coolest. Like,
Yeah, it was a cool because you didn't see it coming either. He just
well,
like
yeah.
just all of a sudden,
Well,
RKO.
nobody saw the Evan Bourne one either. I think that's why that's still talked
Yeah,
about.
like
Because you
when
thought,
sometimes you don't see like sometimes you can see like okay he might RKO him from way up there or
yeah,
wherever it is, but this was just like okay he's falling and you know what RKO like it was
yeah.
just reactionary. It was pretty
Do you
good.
think maybe now with this briefcase, this might eventually lead to a heel turn, or
I think it could. It can. Yeah, I guess from here now we can talk about Raw because that's kind of where
yeah,
Raw picked up. You know, Brad Maddox, of course, came out. John Cena came out and kind of started his
yep,
joking on him, like he did with like John Laurinaitis and
yeah, exactly.
any other GM really. And then Orton came out and the new Mister Money in the Bank, and I thought this was Orton seemed pretty good here. He seems a little more gray area because
Yeah,
Cena's obviously a baby face. If Orton and Cena were to go up against each other, it'd be obvious that Orton would be the heel if any of
yeah,
them. And then the thing is, if Bryan becomes champion and Orton tries to cash in, Orton's gonna be considered the heel in that
yeah,
case, if
definitely.
anything. And I think, and the way Orton put it, how he's not going to be stupid like Cena was last year and
Cash in, yeah,
announce when he was going to
cash,
and just like make it like it was a regular match.
yeah,
Orton, said he's not, the guy.
vulnerable, yeah,
You're not going to see it coming if I cash in, and I think that suits like him, his personality more too,
yeah,
like being the Viper or the Apex Predator or something. Be like sneaky and you know guerrilla warfare about it and
yeah,
do it out of nowhere when you don't see it coming. That would suit him in as a heel too. It could definitely be a precursor to that, I think. And
Definitely.
and definitely, and people wanted to see Orton, or people wanted to see Daniel Bryan win too. A lot of people were expecting that, and some people were disappointed about Orton. I don't totally have a problem with it,
No.
especially since now Daniel
Well,
Bryan is getting
I
the
think people were just
opportunity
shocked
anyways.
because he's a guy who has 2 strikes,
Yeah,
and one more strike, it's terminate. It's supposed to be a contract termination. Supposedly, contract gets terminated. I think up to a year, according to their policy, I believe. So let's just say he has the briefcase and he fails that third drug test.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. So
but I mean, but at the same time, I mean, Orton's been putting people over. Obviously, Daniel Bryan beat him clean,
yeah,
tap out. I mean, a few weeks ago. So it was like Orton's been like
yeah,
on like a roll. I mean, he's been
right,
for me. I've been saying pretty much thinking he's been serving his punishment.
right.
He's been putting guys over.
He hasn't been world heavyweight champion, I think, for almost 2 years.
Yeah,
If you
exactly. And
you
he's
know, so so I mean, yeah, and
and he
the
hasn't
thing
bitched.
with
He hasn't
yeah,
bitched about his suspension. He took it like a man.
and this is the thing with Money in the Bank matches too. So I think in some regards it's good. They were both unpredictable, both of those. Whereas the rest of the
Well,
pay per view was pretty predictable.
it,
Those two matches weren't too predictable.
actually, I heard, and if this starts happening, I
It's a
got to be
spoiler.
well. I got to be concerned with if I'm WWE. This has actually been happening. You are aware that there is, I think, there is a betting site for WWE pay per views, right?
There's a betting site.
Yeah, like
Like
I think it's like Vegas betting, pretty much. Like,
no, it wasn't. I didn't know there was like a site. I know there's like bets. I hear bets about it, but I didn't
no.
know there's
Well,
like a
first of
site.
all, the fact that you're betting on professional wrestling is just stupid. It's a
Yeah,
predetermined event.
exactly.
But according to Solid Monster Sound Off, I think it was like a few. I think it was like almost a few minutes before you Matt picked me up. Towards the end, he was bringing up about the fact that, and he brought us up with Payback too, was that for a while Daniel Bryan was the favorite in his betting site to win,
This money,
and
right?
and Orton was near the bottom.
And
Then
that could have very
magically
yeah,
in about a few hours, he checked again, and Orton became the favorite.
yeah,
And now he's suspecting that somebody up at W headquarters is probably leaking information
maybe,
out to try to make a
yeah,
quick buck, maybe.
perhaps.
And if I'm
Yeah,
WWE, I gotta be concerned because this is not just some online blog site that's leaking information out like
yeah,
a week ahead and might end up being wrong. I mean, this is happening a few hours before a pay per view.
yeah.
And the same happened with Sandow, supposedly. Sandow was near. I mean, I think No DQ brought this up too.
Yep. I mentioned
Sandow
earlier.
was near
He
the
was like
bottom.
4%, I think.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, magically, in the same betting site, rose up to the favorite. So, and even in with Payback last month, Del Rio the same thing. Ziggler was the massive favorite going, and all of a sudden, magically, Del Rio became the
Yeah.
favorite. So clearly, somebody's
Well,
leaking out information.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, I mean, I forget. Lost my train of thought a little bit.
So
Well,
I'm hoping this.
yeah,
I'm hoping this doesn't start spoiling SummerSlam because I really don't want to
yeah.
get spoiled with this man.
And the thing is, I don't even like. I try to avoid spoil. Like every now and then, I read like
Yeah.
what WWE might have in mind, and
Yeah.
like because a lot of times I kind of see something coming, and then I see and I see how it could happen.
Yeah.
Like I was reading like how Daniel Bryan might get chosen, and I read a small spoiler that they're both each respectively dating a Bella twin. Apparently,
Yeah, real life.
so
In real life. And
so
this whole Total
they said they could
Divas.
play that. Yeah,
Well, supposedly they've
they
been
said they
filming
could.
scenes together and that.
Yeah,
So
they said they could.
I honestly hope they don't. I think this would have the same meaning as
Yeah,
when
they
Deborah
can't.
got added to the Austin Rock feud for WrestleMania 17.
Yeah,
It, I think I said, in other words, it wasn't needed.
yeah,
Rock and Austin sold on its own. You didn't need to bring in Deborah
yeah,
to sell the match. And here I say the same. I think Bryan and Cena can sell on their own. I don't think they need the Bella twins to come in.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, it could play an interesting twist in it. It depends how long they want to keep the feud going too.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
if they want to add different elements into
for
it.
me, the way they, I mean, but that's not too far ahead because we said this was the end of that. But for
Yeah.
me, I think right now, just keep it Bryan Cena. Do not add in the Bella twins.
Yeah,
You-
at least
you
up
don't need
till-
to.
at
You
least
don't need
for
to.
SummerSlam. Yeah, we'll get back to that.
Yeah.
Orton and Fandango had a match. I mean, obviously Orton was going to win that.
Very good match though.
It was
Supposed to
yeah.
be competitive.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
JBL kind of put it over like it was
Orton.
Fandango's like best match of his career up to this point.
Yeah, I mean, maybe because he actually stayed in the ring and let Orton beat him in the end instead of walk out. Actually, at one point, I think he did try to walk out, but
Yeah.
then he got, you know, the match continued. And
Were they humming his theme song? Because I do know we were in Brooklyn,
yeah,
and
they were. Maybe not as much as in the
no, well,
past,
no, of
but
course, 'cause it was just the Brooklyn
maybe they,
crowd. You had
yeah,
a few Europeans there who maybe had a bit too much to drink for Raw.
right, right,
So,
and
but no, I think Brooklyn proved why that this is a town that we should keep coming back to.
yeah,
Definitely.
definitely. Um, Yeah, and I mean, these they always get the big. They get good crowds. It's always the show now after pay per views,
Yeah.
like when the one after WrestleMania, Ziggler
Still the
cashed
best
in.
crowd. Probably won't be
It
top
was
till the next Raw after
it
Wrestle.
was, and then yeah, and uh, you know, the one after Payback last month when
Yeah.
the Mark Henry fake retirement, and yeah, now here. The clearly the best show lately, the
Yeah.
best Raw in a build up to any pay per view is the one right after a pay per view. So
Yeah.
most so now I will expect next week maybe not to be. I mean I don't know. I mean
I,
with Brock, I mean we hope it would be good because you
I
got
think
Brock
Brock's coming
Les
back. Yeah, Brock's coming back. I think a little
because
bit more now.
yeah, and leading up to that and RVD might be back. I mean we'll see how.
I don't know who he's gonna feud with.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
that's
figure.
because it's yeah. I mean I don't know if who he'll feud with either. But you know, you're leading up to SummerSlam, and now you got Daniel Bryan against Cena, and you got
Yeah.
different, you know, so different matchups coming. So, yeah, it could be interesting.
Yes.
Hopefully, um, going through Raw. Trying to think what was there was
I don't know. The Real Americans.
Real
The
American.
Real
Yeah,
Americans.
yeah,
Americans.
they losing to the Usos. I don't know.
I'm still bet. Please come out the Hulk Hogan's theme
Yeah,
music. Real America, come on. The Real Americans just come out
yeah.
the Hulk Hogan's theme music.
Of course, you had the official breakup with Dolph Ziggler and AJ. You know, no surprise there. And then the whole thing
Yep.
with the whole match with Ziggler and Ziggler seemingly having the match in
One.
hand,
Then
and
AJ
then
screws
AJ
him.
screw yeah,
Then Del Rio
and then
wins,
Del
and
Rio with his
which
yeah.
for
I
me
mean,
I think puts an
uh,
end to Ziggler winning the belt back right away.
right away, yeah. But maybe
On
down
it,
the road because
WrestleMania.
they can't just. I mean, they can't just leave him at he
Yeah.
had that little
I
reign
mean honestly,
with this much the momentum he's gaining too.
yeah,
There's
but
and with Orton now having the essentially the Raw Money in the Bank briefcase, I wouldn't think he's going to be as prominent on SmackDown.
no, yeah.
So you got on SmackDown, you got Sheamus, as
And God
maybe the
knows we
only
don't
other
want to
big.
see him feud
Who
with Del
knows?
Rio again.
Who knows? Yeah, yeah. I mean that was pretty
Yeah,
mediocre
yeah,
last year.
yeah.
Um, so
I'm
I mean,
betting the bro kick.
all you really have is Dolph Ziggler
Yeah.
as the only other real baby face of SmackDown right
I don't know.
now.
We'll give it. Let's see where
Depends.
they go.
See where they go with Orton at this point. See where they go with Sheamus. I don't know what right now. I mean, what does Sheamus have going for him? This his hotline.
Yeah,
His,
this
his
1-800
kick,
fella.
his
Yeah,
bro
this
kick,
1-800 fella.
his bro kick. So I mean, I don't know. And so, yeah. I mean, that's
I
that.
does I almost feel like trying to dial this hotline, see if it is an actual hotline or not.
Yeah. Um, you had of course, the CM Punk and Paul Heyman
Very
segment
intense
with
promos. Very
definitely.
intense.
I mean, that was definitely one of the best segments
When
of the
I
year. I
heard
was into
Paul
that.
Heyman do this lengthy thing, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
Punk's comeback, and he
Punk's
goes,
comeback was great. I mean, it
oh,
was all around. It was
well,
great
not
stuff.
just that. It's like you know me, Punk. I'm not. When I want something,
Yeah,
I get it, and I
yeah.
want you, and not just you. I want friends, clients.
Yeah.
I will break you pretty much.
Punk was as intense as ever here.
Oh, definitely.
And and then of course the way Heyman introduces Lesnar,
Lesnar comes out and just tosses
it's
Punk around
clobbering
like,
time, and then
yeah.
yeah, they have a pretty decent brawl there ringside.
Which pretty much involved Lesnar just tossing Punk around because
Yeah,
I think once you saw Lesnar and Punk have a stare down, you clearly saw the
yeah,
size difference.
yeah.
Same thing with Daniel Bryan, John Cena. I mean, everybody knows Bryan's looking up at Cena.
Yeah.
That was kind of
I mean, Bryan's only like 5'10", I
Oh
think.
yeah, he's a small guy.
Cena's not that. It's Cena's like 6'1". So I mean, Cena's like
So they
average
can't.
height for
I
WWE
tell you what, though,
superstar.
they can't play up Cena's being the underdog in that feud. They
Yeah,
can't.
exactly.
It would be laughable.
Yeah,
They do this in every feud.
but yeah, I mean, creatively, I wonder what they should do for. I mean, with Punk and Lesnar, I wonder like how much because I think to make it would help the match more. Like if they did make it a little more about Lesnar and Punk to
Eh.
some degree, because like that promo was mostly about Punk and Heyman.
Well, yeah,
But with
and
Lesnar being back more, I mean,
here's
some way,
here's the thing, though. Once SummerSlam's over, Lesnar's gone until what, WrestleMania, pretty much. Then
yeah, I mean, possibly
I
unless they
mean,
have him in the Royal Rumble as an
so
entrant.
and I don't think SummerSlam's gonna like wrap up like the Heyman feud. I could see a Curtis Axel Punk feud then, because Heyman's got to
Possibly,
find either that or Heyman finds another client.
yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, Punk used the reference a couple weeks ago
Yeah,
about how Heyman helps out with Lesnar all the time with all his matches and everything.
yeah.
So what if like maybe like Heyman like Punk attacks Heyman or something and then gets revenge on Heyman or something when Lesnar's not around, and then maybe for once Lesnar and Punk just go at it, no Heyman out there. I don't know. I mean, just maybe that so that there's like no
I think it's gonna
excuse,
be.
so that Heyman's not in anybody's corner.
I can tell you right now, this is
It'd be
easily
interesting.
Brock Lesnar's best feud since coming back.
Yeah,
This could be easily his best
the one with
match.
Cena, seemed a little
And the Triple H one
forced.
just
Like
no,
they had
the Triple H
Cena had
feud
to,
was the Triple H
yeah,
one was forced.
that was forced too. Yeah, but I mean the one with Cena was
You
like,
and me, Brock,
like
man on man.
yeah, yeah. It's taking a yeah. I remember hearing that on the Don Tony and
Yeah,
Kevin Cash
you and
show.
me, Brock.
I remember hearing that a few weeks ago. I remember hearing it last year when that guy does a pretty good
I
impression,
think it's
and Don Tony did a pretty good
yeah.
Paul Heyman impression. I remember too. But yeah, I mean, so the Triple H one. I mean, that had 3 matches,
Oh
of
my god.
course, and
To
but
me,
yeah, this
yeah,
one,
it was too
yeah,
many. SummerSlam one was terrible. The only positive was that it was only 15 minutes. Then we get to WrestleMania 29,
I thought the
and
SummerSlam was all right.
they doubled the
Yeah,
time on that one.
I don't.
Even if it's no holds barred, it wasn't
That
until
one,
the
that one
end.
was too predictable. That was the
Well,
problem.
yeah.
Everyone knew Triple H was going to win.
Well, I would have been shocked if they had Lesnar actually tap out to an MMA submission
Yeah,
hold
right.
to Triple H of all people. But thank God it was just the pedigree to the steel
Yeah,
steps, and then some steel
the
cage. It
first
had
one I thought was all right.
wait, I don't know. I
I
think the
remember
steel
like I
cage was
remember like Lesnar like on a tipped over announce table like just
yeah.
jumping down on there's some good moments I think. But
I don't know. I
it's just
mean,
funny how
I think that
every Lesnar match is like
yeah,
Extreme Rules, and I remember and I think like the first one against Cena was
yeah,
Extreme
yeah.
Rules, and then the one at
WrestleMania.
SummerSlam. Well, the one at like SummerSlam, they said, "Oh, it's no holds," or like I don't know, like all of a sudden they said, "Oh, it's no holds barred this
Yeah,
time," and it's like, well, it was kind of the same deal
yeah.
at Extreme Rules, like
Well, 29 was
or like,
no holds
and then
barred.
they said,
Yeah.
yeah, or maybe they said it was Extreme Rules at
I mean, honestly,
SummerSlam, and then
the best
it was
Triple
just
H
kind of
one I
funny.
thought was Extreme Rules with the steel
Maybe,
cage.
yeah, I mean that one was pretty good. Yeah,
Now, man, it's
it was
because
different.
it was less out of the ring because that's what I felt like. That's all they did in the first two
Yeah,
matches, go out of the ring,
yeah, I
and
can
they
see
can't
that.
with a steel cage. So it was a lot of in ring
Yeah.
finally, and
And then they had the fake sledgehammer. And that was pretty
I
interesting.
thought that spot was pretty good.
That was an
I
interesting
didn't see it.
twist.
I didn't see it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It
That's
was.
right.
It was
I did see it though, and I thought that was a pretty
really
creative
before
idea.
it came out. You actually like spotted it. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I didn't see it.
It was a decent match, and
Yeah,
especially coming off of like kind of a
lackluster WrestleMania.
a disappoint that and like kind of a like a lot of the matches on Extreme Rules. I think they kind of had like screwy finishes, and I they just like
Yep.
weren't like the finishes of every match was like disappointing. And the one with Ryback and Cena, and so yeah, but I mean it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Lesnar and
Yeah.
Heyman and CM Punk heading the next
What?
few weeks.
Well, back to Raw though.
Yeah, on
The
Raw.
Wyatt family attacking R-Truth,
Yeah, I mean,
who
I knew
came
that.
back
I
from another
basically knew.
hiatus.
Yeah, basic. And then once the Wyatt family
I
got
like
in the
that
picture, I'm like,
entrance.
okay,
Oh,
R-Truth gonna get beat up. That's
well,
I,
all I can say is I'm so glad Archer's no longer talking to imaginary little children anymore.
yeah,
I never liked that gimmick. I thought it never helped.
yeah. I
I
mean,
thought him yelling
I
at
don't know.
actual little kids was entertaining, but having an imaginary little friend just I don't know, never really.
I don't. Yeah,
I still can't believe my brother picked him in the draft.
yeah. He's not.
But
Yeah, he's
but
not doing anything really
no
this
no
year.
no no. Except he got a kiss on the cheek from Bray Wyatt after getting the shit kicked out.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
it's
Uh,
a little obscure. I don't, to be honest, so far. But
I
I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Like
I don't know. I think Bray Wyatt
they could be.
The Bray Wyatt character easily is not the creepiest character on the
Yeah,
roster. That promo just freaked me out.
yeah.
How that entrance freaks
I
me
mean,
out. The guy wearing the lamb
yeah,
mask is like slowly walking behind.
yeah. Yeah, and then he sits there on the rocking chair and
Oh
watches the
yeah,
guy.
slowly just.
Yeah, I don't know.
The
I
only thing
mean, we'll
missing
have to wait and
is the
see.
actual like creaking of the chair though.
Yeah,
If
they
you could
need to
actually
put.
hear that, that would.
Yeah, they could put like a microphone underneath the chair, and maybe you could like the people start hearing the creaking echo throughout the arena.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah,
Let's see. Rhodes kind of screwed Sandow against Christian, I believe.
yeah. Not. I mean, it's probably gonna be one of those back and forth feud where
Well,
they do
not
that
to take it from another
betrayal.
wrestling spoiler side again, but Sandow might have to defend his briefcase against Rhodes.
Oh really? Well, that could make it interesting.
Honestly, Cody Rhodes, step one in becoming an over babyface, shave the mustache.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they gotta.
I just can't take him serious with that mustache.
What's mustache
Yeah.
ride?
They and yeah. I mean, I don't know. I always thought his wrestling style, I was kind of nothing like stands out too. I mean, they could, and then his lisp.
What's that kick that he
His
does
lisp.
off the second rope? I think that's a
Yeah.
pretty awesome move.
But other than that, I mean, I don't know. They could do something a little more interesting, I think, with him. And yeah, I mean, the mustache obviously would help. And
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, I mean, of course, the Shield attacked Mark Henry
Yeah.
early in the show. I forgot to mention. So I wonder exactly where that's going to go. It's good though because it made me feel like of all the things that the Shield really did on the show,
Yeah.
at least they like attacked somebody who was just in the WWE Championship match, and it made Mark Henry now come off a little more as a baby face, and
Well, even his promo was
Yeah.
like,
it was even like he was honest.
he's like, I'm not gonna make any excuses. He beat me.
Yeah,
I tapped out. I'm not gonna,
Right.
but I took him to his limit, and I deserve a
Yeah.
rematch. I mean, that wasn't a heel.
Right.
A heel would usually
was all-
whine, bitch, and complain, and say, "I didn't tap out.
yeah.
This happened."
Cena
Make
got,
excuses.
Cena got lucky, or
I almost beat him. He won't beat me again.
yeah. So it'll be interesting to see like what they maybe get together there with. I don't
Yeah.
know, because one thing's for sure that they need to like kind of revitalize the Shield a little more. I think.
Yep.
Um,
Um.
especially when you got all these 3-man factions now. You got the Wyatt family, of course. 3MB are not that prominent, but
The real Americans now.
yeah, because
Americans.
if you count Zeb Coulter, it's
It's a staple.
But as far as
it's a
yeah,
staple.
but yeah, it's a stable
now
with a manager. The Paul Heyman gang
The Paul Heyman guys. Yeah.
has lost somewhat. But
It's us the members.
I mean, it's not like they were exactly a stable, but it was
No.
just like different guys that
How does Kurt? That's the thing too. I'm afraid now this Lesnar Punk feud, actually for at least a month, is gonna be a no-show and roll.
maybe. I mean,
I don't see Curtis Axel sitting next to Brock Lesnar and
Yeah.
saying, "Hey Brock, I respect you," and
yeah.
if it is, Brock's just gonna like wave him off like, well, "Who's this punk kid?" Like think
Yeah.
he is pretty much.
Yeah.
And trust me, Axel does not need to have a veteran guy like call him out again on front of. I mean, Triple H already buried him enough with that one promo.
Yeah. Yeah, so but yeah, I mean from there, I mean other than that there was the of course, yeah, I mean Lesnar really laid the smackdown on
Yep.
CM Punk, and that was probably the highlight, and
Yeah.
because the ending segment, of course RV don't
RV
want to forget that
Yeah,
that
already
match
Chris Jericho.
you mentioned earlier.
I think it's
Um,
funny though. I think it's funny. I remember back in 2001 when they had a match and Jim Ross
Yeah.
referred to them as the two up and
They
comers,
showed- they
and
showed-
now these guys are veterans.
They showed a tweet, like a complimentary tweet, but it was kind of a joke, like, Like, what is this? 2002 Y2J versus
Well,
RVD.
yeah. I
But
mean,
it was good. Here we are, 2013. It was a great main event, I thought, for Raw. Um, RVD he didn't look too shabby. Even
supposedly
in his early 40s.
some people think right now he's still in the best shape of his life,
Yeah, I mean, he
despite
showed.
smoking some marijuana once in a while. I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, he showed
obviously he can't do that now in the
him and
company.
right. Him and yeah, but I mean, like him and Y2J clearly, like it seems even in their at their age,
Yeah,
they could still wrestle a great match, and you put
yeah,
the two of them against each other, it was
definitely.
definitely good stuff.
Like I said, for me, I think it's the end of one part-time wrestler temporarily and the beginning of a new part-time
Yeah,
wrestler.
perhaps.
For me, I think
I
Rob Van
mean,
Dam is taking Chris Jericho's spot
yeah,
pretty much.
they'll probably have to. Yeah, I mean, they'll probably write Jericho off in some way again,
Yeah,
like last year, and then yeah, RVD may have sort of Chris Jericho's schedule in some way, pick up where he
and that
left off.
and now we get to the final segment of the Raw,
Yep,
the decision.
the decision.
And unlike the LeBron James one, it actually lived up to the hype.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I think we all kind of knew it was going to be Daniel Bryan
Yeah,
once they
I'm not
left
gonna
up
lie
the
though, the
decision
way they did it was brilliant. Because
with the decision.
I remember looking out and seeing everybody in the front row, like in the front.
No,
Usually the
that
main event.
part, yeah.
You I
I
don't
think
see
it was,
they're not even
yeah,
out there. I don't see him. He's like behind supposedly
yeah.
I think Jack Swagger and Cesaro and Del
Yeah.
Rio. And he
I,
just starts like pushing him aside, going, "My name's been called."
yeah. When he was, like, you couldn't even see it. Yeah, he's 5'10". You
5'10" can't
couldn't
even
really
see him.
see him. Behind guys like Ryback in that area of the.
You know, it's funny when I heard on a wrestling say this is how they're going to turn a match. I'm like, oh, please let the crowd say his name or something. Because if they would have not have got it, because Cena didn't mention him at all. He's just
Yeah.
like, am I forgetting anybody? I'm
Yeah, and
hoping
then
I'm
and then
forgetting.
at that point, you knew. Okay, yeah, it's Daniel Bryan, no
I feel like I'm
doubt.
forgetting somebody. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
The
They
crowd
could
would
have.
have been dead
Yeah,
silent. This would
they
have been
could
like
have.
one of the
Yeah,
saddest things.
and I
But
mean,
but it ended up being one of the coolest endings to Raw because
yeah,
when they do these yes chants, and if and I hope SummerSlam it's this epic. When
yeah.
you see them doing it in unison, it just looks so. It's almost like a mini
You saw
wave.
everybody. I mean, everybody was going crazy. I mean, it was, and then him doing it in Cena's face,
Oh my
and
god!
everybody.
You know what though?
It
I
gives
actually
hope.
thought Cena would like attack him for that though,
Yeah,
because
like
the
I was
way
waiting.
because
Like, look at Cena's face. I wonder if he's gonna
he's
attack.
like because Cena was like annoyed after a while because
I mean,
it is kind of
yeah,
annoying catchphrase when it's done to your face.
yeah.
I mean,
But the thing is, it doesn't matter. Like, Daniel Bryan. Look at everybody doing it, and you wonder if like the tide might turn here with the momentum, and Daniel Bryan.
I
More
I
people could get more
yeah
behind Daniel Bryan. But then again, you take into consideration that was Brooklyn.
yeah.
Not every next week. I don't know where they're.
Next track. Well, yeah, because
They could be
I
yeah.
remember that like 2 weeks ago, Brian is like tells Orton, "I made you tap out," and fans start booing him. It's like, what? He did make him tap
Yeah,
out. And fans are saying, "Boo, Brian! How
yeah.
a lot of girls
It's like
girls. It's like, how dare you make who's now divorced, so he's single, ladies. I mean,
yeah.
but Randy's now how dare you say you made him tap out? And it's like, well, he did.
Depends. Yeah, depending where they go these next weeks could
Yeah,
depending how the crowd.
yeah. Let's see how the crowd is, and
Yeah,
let's see how
because
Los
the crowd
Angeles.
could be absolutely flat next week.
Oh,
I remember that, like, I think WrestleMania, like after the WrestleMania, the second Raw after WrestleMania was just like I think I don't know, one of the crowds was like really
well, that's
flat.
when I
And
knew
yeah,
Fandango was not
and then
going to be a.
Fandango, yeah, and then Fandango comes out and it's like, I don't hear anybody.
How
I
am I
don't hear
theme?
anybody humming the theme song. I just hear
Well,
dead silence.
well, what happened was WWE, I think, forced it. Because
Exactly.
what
Yeah.
happened? What happened? They show montage of people doing it.
Yeah.
Then they have Jerry Lawler come out and say, "Hey, man, listen to the Fandango."
Yeah.
you know,
And now
it's
you,
like,
now you
and then
hear.
and then Fandango comes out and says, "No, let's do
Yeah.
like." It's like, no, we don't want to because it doesn't feel cool anymore.
Yeah, and I think when you have John Cena, kind of making fun of his, the whole Fandango pronunciation,
Yeah.
I think that's a sign that, yeah, kind of like with
Still,
Brad.
still, he's
Yeah,
Vince's.
he's a
He's
joke
Vince's pet project.
somehow. Yeah,
Vince is supposed to be hiring this guy, so
yeah, and I
we'll
don't.
see. We'll see what that means.
Yeah,
Like I said,
I don't
Drew
know.
McIntyre was also a guy that Vince was high on, and
Yeah,
look where he's at.
yeah,
So Vince doesn't always know talent.
3MB. Yeah, so I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where they
Um,
go with Fandango
but like I said,
heading
no,
into
no.
the
I
pay
mean,
per view.
And then let's see. No, I mean, see, I'm trying to think of something for Daniel Bryan right now.
in the next
Lost
weeks.
next week.
I mean, it'll just be interesting to
And
see what
next week,
happens.
like I said, keep the Bellas out. Promote this as Bryan's the
For now,
underdog.
yeah, definitely for. I mean,
Because you know what? Promote it as Rocky. Because this is almost
Ro-
like Rocky
yeah, I mean
1.
that's yeah. There you go.
John Cena's Apollo Creed, and he just picked Rocky Balboa.
Yeah,
Because you think about it, he had all these other challengers he could have picked, and he picked somebody that not even on
yeah,
camera when his selection happens.
yeah.
It's Rocky Balboa.
Relatively smaller guy,
Yeah.
kind of
I mean, I'm not saying turn him
Rock.
heel, but maybe Cena cannot take Bryan seriously as a challenger. And like I said,
Yeah,
out of nowhere, he just, I don't know, a roll up or something, he beats him clean.
yeah,
Because, I mean, maybe similar to the way Bryan beat Sheamus. Because Sheamus's reaction to losing to Bryan was just priceless. Because it's like, did I just lose to the guy that I beat in like
in
8
18
seconds?
seconds.
18
Yeah,
seconds? Did this just happen?
yeah, yeah. So I mean,
Even
it'll be
Orton had like the
interesting to
same reaction.
see.
Did I just lose to the yes guy?
It'll be interesting to see how it happened. Yeah, how the match goes down. If Bryan wins, how he would win.
Yeah. I'm still going for tap out.
Solomon,
Please.
yeah, I mean, like Solomonster, suggests
Tap
maybe,
out. Make him
yeah.
tap out.
And the thing is, they could have multiple matches here, so
Well, I'm hoping this isn't
if it doesn't happen at SummerSlam, maybe it'll happen down the road.
But I feel like SummerSlam is like kind of
Has to be, yeah,
is as big as WrestleMania,
yeah.
and it's in Los Angeles.
Last year wasn't quite, it didn't quite live up to that kind of hype. And
But wait a minute, you had the storm coming,
Yeah.
Tyler. It was
Right.
Triple H and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, but and I think last year they failed a little bit on that because I remember it was like there was like potential that I remember that like in last July they were saying how the company could be in jeopardy, like Paul Heyman or and Brock Lesnar could own take ownership or I remember something like that, and then they suddenly like dropped that whole idea, and I thought, oh, well, that kind of took some some of the heat out of the match.
The whole idea of Paul Heyman in storyline mode owning WWE, while it would be entertaining, I find hard to believe that he would somehow be able to steal the shares from Triple H, Vince,
in
and
story.
Stephanie. I mean, even storyline, no. You tell me
Yeah.
all three of them are going to throw all their shares in one match?
Yeah.
All three
I mean,
of them?
they could have done. I mean, they could have.
I could see like
thought of
Triple H
something
giving away
else.
his share portion
But
of
that
the
was
company.
yeah. But I remember that was the way they were building it up, and then it kind of it turned into this like personal thing where like, oh,
You and me, Brock.
you insult and
Man on man.
Paul Heyman, you don't talk about my children, and it got a little stupid.
Yeah,
then.
Paul. Yeah,
and then of course,
Paul Heyman swearing on his
then
children.
it got yeah.
Punk had the best comeback too, and I guarantee you, swearing on your children, because Punk doesn't have any children to swear on. So.
Yeah, I was good. Yeah, I mean, and that's one of those things. Like, I might want to go. I might want to go back and watch that again because that was good stuff on like YouTube or something.
I'm telling you,
those are kind of segments. They
what though? I keep hearing this.
To produce.
Punk's intensity there I think keeps adding to this whole Stone Cold Steve Austin comparison.
Yeah.
That if those two have got in the ring and that intensity with those two on the mic.
Yeah.
I still remember that SmackDown interview they did. That was the intensity Punk showed in that interview, and it almost made me say, I'm sold. I'm sold. They didn't need to do anything else to the feud. Just have Jim Ross sit down with Austin and Punk for like a 12-minute interview. Yeah. And that's it. That's the match right there. That's all you need for this match.
Yeah.
But, Austin's turning 50, and I really don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, Austin kind of teased something, supposedly in an interview.
Every now and then, yeah.
But he always words it as, well, if the stars line up, or in other words, if the right amount of money comes in, maybe I'll actually think about it.
Yep.
I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
It's just wishful thinking on everybody's part.
But I mean, here this was. I mean, with Heyman,
However,
Heyman, that was good stuff.
I have to bring this up.
Do more of that.
A legendary superstar who I thought would never work for the company again. I said Bruno Sammartino will never work for the company again. Has now signed a kind of a deal where his name is in WWE 2K14.
Oh, really? Oh, well, that's interesting.
Do you want to guess, Tyler, who this legend is who's had bad blood for all these years?
Well, I heard like a couple years ago, potentially Goldberg.
No.
But
this guy, I put it this. This guy, at one point this guy was one point booked to be the next Hulk Hogan. He was to take Hulk Hogan's spot at one point.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay, they fought in Canada at WrestleMania.
Was it Bret Hart?
Bret
Or
Hart never
Canada?
faced Hulk Hogan.
No.
He faced Hogan
Uh,
at Canada in the Toronto. Edge
when
was
was
in a
this?
young Edge was in attendance.
Really?
Yeah,
I remember. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Like Edge was in attendance for one
I,
of the big matches. And
okay. I can give you another question. He's known for his controversial promos that they make no sense.
when was this?
Go on
When was this?
go on WWE's YouTube. They have this like trailer for promoting WWE. I'll just say it's the Ultimate
2K14.
Warrior,
Yeah,
and this
and
is his
then
actual legal name now. The Ultimate Warrior
really.
has now signed supposedly a deal kind of similar to Randy Savage before he died, where he because I remember like one time like Savage signed a deal with action figures and video games
Yeah,
and that, which made me think that Savage was going to come back to the company, maybe make an appearance, but unfortunately, tragic car
yeah.
accident. But now maybe due to Bruno Sammartino now burning the bridge under with Vince, the Ultimate Warrior is now back with the company in a
Hmm.
legendary contract. But it's a funny
I heard. Yeah,
it's a funny trailer though, and maybe you can add the audio to it, maybe, or they go to Don Tony can have the audio of it. It's literally him wearing his Wario gear.
yeah,
And again, this guy's like I think in his 50s now,
yeah. I heard. Yeah,
so he's not like in the best shape.
I heard.
He's literally coming
Yeah,
about a Warrior promo, and he's just smacking everybody across like the office pretty
I
much.
heard. Yeah, I heard he wrestled like at some event or something, and like he looked like people said he looked like blown out, tired after
Oh,
he
the
ran
Orlando Jordan match.
after he ran to the ring.
Oh,
Like so, I don't know, but yeah, I mean
you have
they'll
to
put him
cut.
in the
You have to
the
find
next game.
The Chris Masters interview on his thought on that match.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, they'll,
poor Orlando Jordan had to fight the Ultimate
yeah.
Warrior.
So yeah,
But no, the Ultimate Warrior is back. All I can say is God help us all,
in some form. Yeah.
because if we, like I said, guys known the guy almost took Hulk Hogan's spot pretty much.
Yeah. Huh.
If it wasn't for him supposedly being such an asshole backstage, supposedly.
Yeah. Well,
But no, I feel to throw that out there. I'm actually kind of like I would say I'm happy about it, kind of mixed, but no, I just think it's funny now that all these legends that said they would never work for
yeah,
the company again are now signing these legend deals.
yeah,
So already there's
so,
rumors of Warrior 2014 Hall of Fame
yeah,
now. Because, if he's going to have his
yeah,
name in a video game, why not just put his name in Vince McMahon's
yeah.
own Hall of Fame, pretty much?
So now, yeah, with all these legends too, now people are just waiting for that Goldberg, to be in the game, one of the WWE games, and probably the WWE,
I think Sting
or
has a better chance
like a
getting.
WCW
Yeah.
aspect of maybe, but
I don't know, Tyler.
yeah,
I think Sting has a better
people are,
odds
yeah,
than Goldberg at this point.
yeah. Of course, a lot of people are trying to rumor that Sting is going to return, and perhaps face the Undertaker WrestleMania and
Uh,
all that. I don't know yet,
I think there's a better chance of
but
Austin Punk happening than
yeah,
Sting
so
Taker match at this point.
yeah, a lot of wishful thinking by some people with
Yeah.
Sting. Yeah,
And obviously, all this is coming off the rumors of all these cuts happening in TNA and the fact that they haven't paid that some of the wrestlers are like a month behind on
yeah,
a paycheck. Which
yeah,
all I can say is I can tell you this: I don't think Sting's one of them, and I don't think Hulk Hogan's one of the guys that's paycheck is behind.
yeah,
But
yeah. Especially with those big names.
no.
Yeah,
Well, and I think in Sting and Hulk Hogan's case, big names in their mind right now.
yeah.
I really don't think that they're as big as stars as they
As
used
they
to
used to be. Yeah, definitely.
I think now they're just the old guys that people make fun
Yeah.
of now on the internet.
Yeah. And then some people like, oh, are they gonna come to WWE for this match or But yeah, probably not. Yeah, Hulk Hogan.
As much as I want to see like Kurt Angle back too in the company,
yeah.
but I don't see it happening.
People, yeah, if he does, it would probably be like a part-time, one of the like Lesnar's had or RVD, these part-time guys.
Yep.
Probably more along the lines of Lesnar, if Kurt Angle was to come back.
Yeah.
So I mean, because Kurt Angle he's done a lot over the years, and so but he hasn't left it out. So
Yep.
He's considered it certainly, and
Mm-hmm.
and I mean he has at some point. You'd think he has to. I mean, with his legend, he was a legend. Let's face it.
But I think the only odds of happening is if TNA's doors just shut.
Yeah.
The only way
he's happy. He's been happy.
One door closes, another door opens, and in this case, it's WWE because they're the only other one available that would pay a decent amount of money.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see it happening. I think there's too much loyalty there.
Yeah.
Mainly also because his kids, I don't know. It's been well documented. His wife is dating Jeff Jarrett now, and
Yeah. Well,
supposedly they
yeah. I
still.
thought
Yeah,
I thought Kurt Angle divorced her,
yeah,
Karen, and
yeah,
then Karen married Jeff Jarrett.
yep.
So yeah, I mean
And now Jeff Jarrett's no on
that was
television.
several years ago.
Oh yeah,
And yeah, and then I remember they actually like used that in the story. I remember
yep.
too. But yeah,
Even had Kurt's kids show up on the
yeah.
camera too. I
Here we
mean,
are in 2013, and just teenage just can't seem to get it together. I guess.
no, no.
And and who knows if they do, if they really do continue to decline at this rate, eventually we may see some,
Well,
perhaps Kurt Angle,
some people
you
blame
know,
these pay cuts due to mismanagement, but also the fact possibly that they're out of the impact zone now,
yeah,
which used to have like a fixed income. I mean, a fixed expense kind of. Like it's like now you're on the road, so now you got to pay for all the
yeah,
travel expenses. It eventually adds up, and if you don't have merchandise sales or any
to
kind of
back
revenue
it.
to back it up, or ticket sales, you're gonna start
Not gonna
losing
work.
money.
Yeah,
And then I think Salmas said it best. This is ECW. It sounds like ECW. Yeah,
yeah,
and the difference was at least there, Paul was able to convince the guys to at least oh well, at least I'm loyal to you. I mean,
yeah,
so I don't know if Dixie Carter is quite the salesman as Paul Heyman is.
yeah,
We'll see. I think as Jericho said, there needs to be at least a second company there for someone to go. But at the
yeah,
same time, if people aren't getting their paychecks, I'd rather just have them go, like try the independent circuit where
yeah,
they will at least get paid their measly $100.
yeah,
At least it will be on time, and
yeah, yeah. That's what some guys I've seen. Ric Flair even does some of independent stuff, and
or reality
some
shows.
guys,
I saw him and Rowdy Piper on a Celebrity Wife Swap. Thought it was highly entertaining.
yeah,
I also felt kind of bad for these guys saying, "Oh boy, man, these guys do anything for money now, won't they?"
yeah,
Yep, you got Rowdy Piper criticizing Rick for not hanging out with the family long enough, and you got Ric Flair criticizing Piper for living up in the woods in the middle of nowhere.
yeah. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't. I guess we'll just from here we'll just have to tune in, see what goes on
Yep, we'll try to keep
next
the
week
next
on
show
Raw.
not as random towards the end.
Yeah,
I just had to throw the Ultimate Warrior thing out there
yeah,
because, like I said, I mean, I think it's kind of funny that if you heard this guy in interviews, he's like, I'll never come back, and how he even talked about it in an
yeah,
interview now where he wants to have a match with Vince McMahon. I don't want to see it happen. If it is, it better be shorter than the WrestleMania 12 match he had with Triple H,
yeah,
which I'm sure Triple H still has not forgiven him over.
yeah,
But for no selling the pedigree.
yeah. So
But
yeah,
yeah, no, yeah,
we'll
next
just have
week,
to. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what goes down too. I mean, again the crowd
yeah,
might. I don't know if they'll live up to the Brooklyn crowd depending where they're at,
probably not.
and I don't depending who's there on
So
but there's still some interesting
yeah,
stuff going on here, especially when you got Daniel Bryan now in the title picture against Cena. So definitely some interesting stuff here.
yeah.
So we'll
But I would,
tune in.
like I said, I'd rather they just do like a Rocky storyline here than instead of
Yeah,
adding in the Bella
keep him like
twins.
the yeah,
Yeah, but we'll
definitely for
see what
now.
happens. All I can say is the John Cena fear the beard.
Yeah, yeah. There we go. Fear the beard and that. Yeah.
That
So
I have to get that T-shirt now.
yeah,
It's awesome but yeah, no, I think we can wrap it up now
yeah, and
do
yeah,
it.
and just
Have we? Oh, by the way, how's your John Cena jokes coming along?
yeah. I do have more actually.
We'll save them.
Oh
Save them.
yeah.
We might need them.
Yeah,
I might need them for the rage I will experience if Daniel Bryan does not become WWE champion and
yeah,
come SummerSlam.
yeah.
I might just
I
need something to laugh at.
I actually have a list of like over 10 now, I think. So I think that's a good one. I think I might have like 12. That might be a good number for like to do a little video, you know. I just got to figure I want to make it like I'm in a stand-up comedy hall.
Yeah.
And add effects.
Like I said, I'd save it for after SummerSlam
Yeah.
because I might be going through rage mode.
Maybe
If D. Bryan doesn't get the belt.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a good time too cuz things would be in full swing then. And again, if Bryan doesn't win at SummerSlam, let's face it, there's going to be a lot of ticked off, internet fans especially.
Oh, the
That and then
IWC
yeah,
community will flip off.
so that video could definitely like be a good. That could be good timing for the video. People could see that and it's like, oh, you know what?
Maybe I
Let's
should do
use
like one of those
this.
like leave Britney alone spoofs kind of
Yeah,
videos. Leave Daniel Bryan alone.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, that could be good timing for a video like that on the internet. Who knows?
Who knows?
It'd be cool if like
We're just randomly saying stuff at this point.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, without further ado, I guess we'll wrap it up here
Yep.
on the great wrestling debate here, um, July 16th, and stay tuned for next week. I guess for whatever
Yep.
we have in store then. So thanks for tuning in
Yep.
for this hour edition of the great wrestling debate.
Yep.